Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Happy Tuesday. Hello,
Yes.
RG Arizona Homestead. Good to see you. And Little House in the Big Woods. Good to see you. Thank you all for joining us. We'll give it another minute for other people to get their notifications.
Hello, hello.
How's everybody doing? How have you been doing, Lisa?
Doing good, doing good. It's gotten very quiet here. I don't hear pheasants anymore. I don't hear the turkeys running across that metal roof down in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have piglets screeching, and it's kind of weird. Kind of weird.
Yeah,
But how about you?
I'm doing wonderful. And I'm going to be sharing some news with everybody on the live today, and then I've got a video that I'm hoping to get up by end of today or to be tomorrow morning. Hey there, Blue Self-Reliance. Thank you
Hey,
for
Blue.
hopping in.
Hey, Blue. And you have a new grandbaby,
I
people are
got a new
saying.
grandbaby. I posted a picture of him on the community page, and
Congrats.
yes, we are so happy. Hi there, Milk and Honey. Good to see you. Good morning, Papa's Kitchen.
Morning, morning.
Yeah, our new grandbaby was born last week. It was a home birth, um, and it was something to be a part of. I will share that with you. It was amazing. God is amazing. And mom and dad are doing well. They are so brave, and they did such a wonderful job. Um, it's just an amazing story.
I bet. I
A home
bet.
birth is the hospital provides quite a service. I will I will tell you that there's a lot that they do, but definitely the care that the mom and just the gentleness that the baby is handled with when you have a baby that is a home birth is just completely different than what you experience when you're in the hospital as far as the gentleness. People in
Yeah.
the hospital, they just yank those babies around, and they feel like they're so durable. And when you give birth at home, you're definitely more careful for sure about everything.
Oh,
um,
sure. He's a handsome little fellow, too.
isn't he cute?
Yes, he is.
He is a cutie. Of course, just sleeping and eating. That's his world right now.
And pooping.
And pooping. Yeah. And that was one thing when she gave birth to him. I mean, within the first hour, of course, he cried when he was born. And then, oh my gosh, Archie, they dropped you at
Oh,
least.
no.
Smokes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Um, but he cried. He ate right off the bat. Like, he's a good eater. He peed, he pooped. We're like right on. All of his pipes are working. Relief. But it was something. So I know Barb is not here. She might be joining later, maybe. So on the last live,
Mhm.
I had some people asking me about, where have we moved? Have we moved? And all of that. And I wanted to share that news with you all today. And congratulations, Papa's Kitchen. Your ninth should be here in April. Is that your ninth baby or grandbaby?
Wow.
How wonderful. Yeah, my daughter, when of course she was in labor, she was saying, I think this is my last one. I think this is it. This is number 3 for her. And yesterday she was already saying, I can see why people have a lot of kids. I could do this one more time. And I'm like, oh God. It's a scary thing to have your daughter pregnant and in labor, because
Yeah.
you recognize the seriousness and their fragileness, right?
Yeah.
Um, when someone's pregnant. Grandbaby. Congratulations on your ninth grandbaby. This was our eighth. He was number 8 for us.
Wow.
Hmm. So this daughter's third. Hi there, the Bullock Experience. Thanks for hopping in. This was our third grandbaby from this daughter, but it's our eighth grandbaby total. So, RG, I know you sent me a message asking if we moved. So we did move. And I'm telling you all before I even put the video out because I'm just so darn slow about getting the video out. And we have been so busy, as you can imagine, the grandbaby being born, home birth, and all of that. And not to mention the fact that we've been building goats pens, chicken coops, and remodeling the house, and not because we're fancy people, but just because, it's got to be livable. there's,
Yeah.
there's some things that we have to fix. So, hey there, Odom's Homestead. Good to see you.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm trying to post whatever links I can.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. Um, so we did, as you all know, and this kind of goes back to our goals and to the topic of today, which was what is in the way of people achieving their goals. Well, there's a lot of things that myself and Mountain Grandpa that we wanted to do, that we wanted to experience, and Arizona is beautiful. But Mountain Grandpa loves to fish. We both love to go fish. We both love
Right.
to be in the woods, go hunting, and the woods of Arizona are so beautiful. And I'll say one thing about the Arizona forest is you can walk out in between trees, go all over, and you don't have to worry about snakes. There's not a lot of brush because they keep the forests very clean for fire prevention, which is a big worry every year. And so there's that. And it's a beautiful place like you don't see much of, right? You see it where Lisa is in South Dakota. You see it in parts of New Mexico and parts of Colorado. And as far as I know, maybe Montana probably has some areas, but we really wanted to be able to raise our own meat like Lisa does. We wanted to be able to grow our own vegetables. And, when we were on hauled water, and I did a video on how we hauled our water when we were in Arizona. I shared a video on that. We had to haul our water. And as a matter of fact, the day that I chose to do a video of that, there was a notice up that the well that they were pulling the water from that was already 30 minutes away, that they upped the price of water because that well was dry and they had to drive yet an additional 30 minutes to go and get water from a different well. And some people that washed it were commenting on the price of the water, and the price of the water wasn't even the issue. I mean, when it comes to water, guys, like you pay for water, you're going to pay what you have to pay to get water.
What
And
was the price? I'm curious again.
it cost us, we had a 500-gallon tank. And when I was doing the video, I was just talking away and saying it cost us $15 to fill this. And it had gone up to 25. It might've went from 12 to 20 or something like that. Now I forget because Mount Grandpa usually took care of that chore for us most of the time. So I didn't pay a whole lot of attention, but there it goes to show I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. We pay whatever we have to pay to get our water.
Right.
That's just what you do. The issue that I was most concerned about was the fact that we had a well run dry where our water came from. And now they're going further to get water. Now we had a 2,000-gallon cistern. And, on one hand, if the water was to stop, if power was to stop, if for whatever reason we couldn't get water, we would have 2,000 gallons. We always considered 1,500 gallons empty. So we never let ourselves get lower than that, just so we always had water in there, in case anything happened. Because, I really like to follow the preparedness mindset with that. So it's better than people who have city water who feel like they're safe because they turn the water on and poof, it's there. But that's not the case for people who have hauled water. I know exactly how much water we use, and I'm really good at conserving water.
Yep.
And honestly, even though I live in the land of plenty in regards to water here now, I'm still conserving water. I'm still the way that I wash my dishes and everything like that. But anyway, so that was a big issue for us. And I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of water to feed our animals, because if there was ever a grid down situation, SHTF, or maybe in Arizona, just I feel like they're not telling people that, hey, we're running out of water, folks. Lake Mead is almost dry. Like, it's very, very serious, and they're not telling people, and there's still people moving in. There's still people just continually going there, and they're going to
Yeah.
have a problem, is what I think. And so, anyways, we wanted to not have that worry, not to mention the cost of living was so expensive there. And so that the cost of living itself could prevent us from doing a lot of things. Thank you, the Bullock experience.
Yeah, I think that what a lot of people, people often comment about us hauling water. Now, we have a well. You did
Mhm.
not. You
I
had a
did.
cistern, so
Mhm.
all you had was hauled water, and
Yep.
that is hello, Mountain Grandpa.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Pretty good.
So, yeah, you just had hauled water, and that
Mhm.
is the one thing around here, and I've talked about it millions of times, is that I don't want to go on just hauled water for animals because, like you
Mhm.
said, you use a lot of water and you realize how much you use
Yep.
when you're hauling it. And so take care, Blue. No worries.
Thank you, Blue. And hey, Mickelson Family Homestead. Thanks for
Hey,
coming in.
Kelly. Hey, Odoms. And so, yeah, I mean, we do it just to, number one, so we can have water access in the back part of our property,
Mhm.
like it's so
Yeah.
vast, right? But the
Yeah.
reality of it is I can't get water back there. So
Mhm.
gravity fed works.
Mhm.
But people often comment about ours, and I'm like, you know what? We haul the water because that well is a gift,
Yeah.
and I don't want it to dry out because number
Yeah.
one, super expensive to
Mhm.
fix.
It
Number
is.
two, I may not be able to fix it.
Yep.
And number three, I don't want to haul water as my only resource.
Yeah.
So I'm protecting the resources that I have.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is. We had a situation where a well went dry on a house when we lived in the valley, and we were on well water there. And it can damage your pipes too. When
Mm-hmm.
you start to hit rock bottom and you're trying to get water out and it's starting to come out, you can tell there's dirt in it. You now have dirt in your pipe, and sometimes it can cause damage. So for us, when we talk about how to find a way, like, what's in the way of you reaching your goals and really achieving the lifestyle that you want, for us, we felt like it was where we were living. So we opted to move. And so we looked at a lot of places. We looked at some things like gun laws, because Arizona has amazing gun laws, guys. Arizona just does. And we didn't want to have to change our lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
too much in that regard of what we were used to in terms of our freedoms, right? So we looked at gun laws. We looked at population density, because the population density in Arizona is not really high. Um, it's not. And if anything, where we live now, I actually feel like there's more people, which is really kind of strange.
There is, because I know South Dakota, that's the big thing. Our population density is
Real low.
real low.
That's awesome. Hey, LP.
Hey, LP and milk and honey. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And so, oh, they're commenting on the,
Yep.
yeah, solar or a pump for that deep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we were looking at population density, gun laws. We wanted to make sure we wanted water. That was a big thing. So water was a call, and where could we afford to live? We didn't want we wanted snow that melted. Like Arizona, where we were in northern Arizona, I think we were in like the top 10 or 12 for the amount of snow fall that, and a lot of people don't know this about northern Arizona, but it melts in between snows. And so we still wanted some snow, but we didn't want to like be in snow from November through April, like constant. I know, bless your heart, Lisa. Um, so we of all the then we went and looked at homes, and we let me tell you, I was looking for two homes on acreage, and that is a challenge. So we're also on a timeline. Everybody saw the thank you for the congratulations on the grandbaby, LP. He is
Uh,
adorable.
the property across the street from us has two homes, a garage, and a shop
Uh-huh.
on 22 acres, and it sold for 1.3 or 1.4 million dollars.
Oh, see, we don't have that kind of money.
I know, but I'm saying
Holy
like that
smokes.
something you were saying was hard to find.
Yes.
That's what we're up against is,
Yeah.
right across the street. It was a beautiful piece of flat property
Yeah.
and great balance between open land and
Mm-hmm.
trees.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I wanted that. Mm-hmm.
1.2 or $3 million not happening.
Yep. Yep. That's what we wanted too, was that balance. Hang on one second.
How's everybody doing today in the chat? Doing good?
Okay. My husband was wanting to watch the chat and he had the volume up like, we can hear you. Just listen to us talk.
Hit the mute button, dude, or go in the other room.
Yeah.
Poor
So
poor mountain grandpa.
so we have to remodel both of the rooms in the house that we're in. So we're like in a studio. We're staying in the living room right now is where
Cool.
he did, yeah. But anyhow, so where we ended up, everybody, is
Drum roll, please.
we ended up in the Ozarks. We love the Ozarks, and on the Missouri side, and we live in a place in an area that's supposed to not get too many tornadoes, though we do want to get a tornado shelter built. But so that's exactly where we ended up, and we were able to find a piece of property, two homes that we could afford. So um, right before the winter, right before the baby was born. And I know it feels like I've been slow about getting this video out, but we've been working on this since May, and we have only been on this property for 2 weeks. So that's where we're at with that. And it was a lot of work. It was 4 vehicles pulling trailers. We got COVID in June. I mean, it's just been kind of one rolling thing after another, and it was a lot to move. And any of my preparedness friends, when you go to move, let me just forewarn you how much space the food and all the supplies take up. Oh my word. I
All
think
your preps and all your hordes have to come
yeah.
with you.
Yes. And then the funny looks you get from, like, family that comes to help you move when they realize this is food. This is more food. When they're clearing out the closets, it's hilarious. Yeah.
You're
And they look
very
at
happy
you like
though.
you're crazy, but we love you anyways.
You've been very happy though, because I've been talking to you behind the scenes, and I'm
Yes.
just so happy for you guys and proud and congrats. And Milk and
Yeah.
Honey is sending congrats as well.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
exciting. Big move.
Big
Been
move.
there.
Yes. RG, we do too. You don't know until you try. And you have to.
RG, yeah. RG, we had a big change too. We moved we were in Connecticut and moved to North Carolina, which was for us a major change, we thought.
Mhm. Yeah.
An environment, and then we
Yes.
moved from western North Carolina to South Dakota, and it was like nothing we'd ever seen. So you're
Mhm.
so right, RG, about Mountain
Yeah.
Grandma moving from Arizona to the Ozarks.
Mhm.
Huge change. It's
Mhm.
so lush.
It is so lush. And so next year, I can already see what my big problem is going to be in terms of gardening. It's going to be bugs, because I saw some remnants of the people that lived here before and what they had planting, and I could see some of the bugs. So
3-in-1
that's
row covers.
mm-hmm. What row covers, yeah, for the extra
And
weeds. And I remember watching
DE.
people do the row covers, and I'm like, I don't need those here. I'm lucky if I get anything to grow in this garden.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, not a lot of weeds in Arizona.
A lot of DE also.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is our news. We're going to have a video that's coming out. So thank you all for supporting us through all of this, because it's been hard to also keep up with YouTube, especially since I want to say, like, gosh, August. Since August, it's been super rough. We sold the place in Arizona, and we were in a hotel for a couple of weeks before we could even come up here because the closing dates and stuff didn't align. So, and that was quite a trip, quite a trip. So
And you made it through.
we made it through. It's so beautiful here. And it checked off almost all of our boxes. You know, you have the boxes of what do I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And it checked off almost all of our boxes. And it's so nice to have the grandbabies be able to come running in the back door. Though yesterday they got in trouble because they came to grandma and grandpa's house without telling mom and dad. And they knew they were supposed to be coming to our house because we were going to watch them while they took the baby to the doctor's office for his checkup, and they jumped the gun on it and came over here. So it was, but it is so nice to be able to see them every day and, be able to send food over there, and it's just awesome. We are so happy. We're just loving it. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to get some cooney pigs, Lisa.
Next year.
Yes. So that was
Next year.
our big, what's in the way. So we were looking at what was in the way. We started evaluating our lifestyle. Do we really, are we really happy? Are we doing the things that we really want to do as much as we want to do them? Like, do we look outside? Are we happy with that? And that was something we thought would definitely make things better. Yes,
That's,
RG. It is the beginning of them coming over every day.
so it's funny because you and I have been having these conversations, and you know that I retired based on that premise.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
my mom had passed away in August of 21
Mm-hmm.
after a long battle with Alzheimer's, where her
Mm-hmm.
quality of life was
Mm-hmm.
just awful.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
Ryan and I had been having a conversation for at least a year leading up to her death
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that if that's what life has in store for us ahead, it's time to live it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At the end of the day, I grew up in a family that was work, 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 work,
Yeah.
work,
Same here.
rise up the corporate ladder, do all that stuff, work, work,
Yep.
work, 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 and put that at the expense of everything else.
Yep.
And that's not the way to live, but sadly, that's what I was taught. And
Mm-hmm.
because that's what my parents did,
Yep.
so it's time to, and people say, let me go back for a minute. People say, oh, must be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that frustrates me.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why. It must be nice is acting like things are handed to me,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not. We've lived an entire life of thrift. We've
Yep.
lived an entire life of cheap. We have lived an entire life of trying to put money away
Yep.
so we can live a life we want to
Yeah.
live.
Yep.
And this was a huge step for me to stop working.
Yeah.
I agonized over it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need to go back to work, I'll go back to work
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep.
And, but for right now, that's what we're talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because we've chosen
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice our whole lives
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
Yeah. Yep. And I like this Papa's Kitchen. Thank you so much for that. And
Yep.
that was really why we thought this would be a good thing to talk about, because I think sometimes people accept where they're at, and accept their challenges, and don't start to think that maybe there is a different way that does involve a big change, and that's going to be everybody can choose what's best for them, but maybe there's a bigger change that could happen, and it just requires some thinking out of the box. I mean, you can make do, and a lot of people feel like they're stuck, when they're not really stuck. That's still a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to raise. And is when you think outside the box and you think of what can I do to change where I am, because change
Mm-hmm.
is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Change is
Yes.
scary, and it's what can I do to change where I'm at.
Yep.
And I will tell you, when I was a single mom, I had to balance my checkbook down to the quarter
Mm-hmm.
because I was broke.
Yeah.
And I know what that's like. But I
Mm-hmm.
knew if there was a quarter in my checking account after the
Mm-hmm.
bills were paid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I still went on vacation with my kid. They were, I don't want to say pathetic little trips, but they were nothing fancy.
Mm-hmm.
It would mean him and I drove up to Vermont, spent the night, and came home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? We still did it
Mm-hmm.
because we had the can mentality versus the I can't. And I
Yeah.
didn't charge it. I saved for it like 50 cents at a time, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, and I think that's just the reality. It's when you say I
Mm-hmm.
can't, you just shut the door
Yep.
and you wallow in it. Whereas if you
Mm-hmm.
say, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
You try to look for a way.
Yes.
And I can give a stupid but good example of this.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Kuni pigs as pets. My husband
Mm-hmm.
and I had always said there's no pets on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
I finally got him to agree to one I could keep as
Mm-hmm.
a pet. So we got Sherman.
Sherman's the best.
I know.
Oh, I love him.
Well, what am I going to do with Sherman? I mean, let's
Mm-hmm.
be real, right? I got him.
Mm-hmm.
He's cute and all that stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
love him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we now have two boars and two sows. Why?
Yeah.
Because I figured out a way to, obviously they breed on their own, but I figured out a
Mm-hmm.
way to publicize that we had piglets.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully we were able to sell them all this year because I did
Mm-hmm.
sweat it for a while. But
Mm-hmm.
that's how I can have my Kuni pigs
Mm-hmm.
and not all of them be meat. I have one that's for meat now, but other than that, I've got the breeders so I can have my quote unquote pets
Yeah. Yeah.
for a while anyway, you know?
Yeah. And they are so cute. I can't wait to get Coonies. They're adorable. And I
And on a
know.
side note, you got to see the girls. They've blown their coats. Coonies blow their coats, they call it. And they lose. Sherman's done it since we brought him home.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because Sherman, one year he blew it all along his back,
Uh-huh.
like a reverse mohawk.
Huh.
This year he blew it on his side, so he looked like he had a
Mhm.
mohawk. Hey, fix it, lady.
Hi there, the
And
kitchen lady. Thanks for coming in.
and the girls, now that they've just weaned their litters, this is their
Mhm.
first year and they are
Mhm.
blowing their coats. So they're
Mhm.
getting ready for
Huh.
winter. So the sides are very they look like I shaved them.
Uh-huh.
But they're going to be growing in. They're going to have beautiful coats on them.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I was thinking this year. So I was thinking, do I want to get animals this year? And I think I'm going to wait till spring because, well, I kind of want to wait for your Cooney pigs, to be honest, because those guys are cute and they've got the best personality and dispositions. And I feel like, I know my grandbabies are going to want to, pet them and stuff like that. And, of course, we're going to have to teach them safety and all
yeah.
of that good stuff. But I like the idea of them being able to engage with them a little bit. And I think that your Coonies have such a good disposition that they would let them do that, especially since I saw that one picture offline of the
Yeah.
little boy holding one in his lap. That was awesome. So,
Yeah, we handle all of the piglets were handled a lot.
mm-hmm,
Fiona's litter took a little bit longer, and that was because we had some losses and we wanted to leave the litter with Fiona and
mm-hmm,
let them do their bonding because she lost two.
yeah,
Um, so, um, but we handle them a lot
mm-hmm,
to the point where when it's time for them to go to their homes, it's not
mm-hmm,
even an effort to catch them.
yeah,
Like they just stand at my feet and I pick them up. So,
Aw. Oh,
but
hey there,
yeah,
Time to Shine Homestead. Good to see you.
yeah. I mean, they. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Time to
Mhm.
shine. We yeah, I mean, we handle them a lot. We believe in handling them a lot. But I will say Sherman is now at that age where
Mhm.
his tusks are starting to grow in. And so we're going to have to
Oh, shoot.
look at, I don't believe in pulling them, but we're going to have to look at maintenance and cutting them.
Yeah.
I now have to make sure I'm a really bad example for a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go in there with flip flops. It's not good. Don't do what I do.
When we were in Arizona, I said flip flop, state shoe of Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, please don't do that. Wear boots. I'm really bad to go in there with whatever is on my feet, but I have to get in the habit of wearing boots because Sherman did get me in the leg with the beginnings of his tusk and
Uh-huh.
cut me because I was stupid. And anyone who's had
Oh,
pigs with
yeah.
tusks knows that they can slice an artery and kill you, and it's unintentional. So make sure you're careful with stuff like that.
Time to Shine Homestead. I saw that. The video with the mullen. Yes.
Awesome.
And it looks like the regular verbascum thapsus, which is the mullen. That's just the Latin name for it. That's the mullen that we had a lot of in Arizona, and I really love that herb. Um, I do everything with it. I was so happy to when we got here, which I just shared. Time to Shine. We moved. We're in Missouri now, in the Ozarks. And when I moved here, I've been looking for it, like looking for it along the roadways. We have groves of it in Arizona.
Wow.
I hadn't seen it anywhere on the property. I mean, there's a lot of our properties kind of a mixture of forest and land. I want to say pasture, but it's not exactly a pasture. It's kind of like a hillside almost. But um and I didn't see any in anywhere I could get to. And I finally found some of it under my porch. Under my porch. I was like under my steps. I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Because I didn't harvest as much of it as I wanted to before we left. I just didn't have time. So I was super happy to see that. But I'm happy for you that you have it.
I'm
What is
sorry
it?
about the chickens. That's
Oh
just, I
no.
don't know why they do that. They just need to ban the roosters. Like, take the
Oh,
roosters. If
yeah.
I totally get it. In close quarters, roosters are obnoxious for people. I
Yes.
get it.
So talking about things that are in the way,
But why the
Big
chickens?
Brother.
Take the roosters.
Yeah, Big Brother's in the way.
And
Um,
I'm not a proponent. Like, I don't, I totally get the Big Brother thing, but
yeah.
I also understand what it would be like if somebody had roosters in town and how what a
Yeah.
struggle that could be.
Yes.
Right. But to me, it's a no-brainer because
Yeah.
in city limits, it is so common to say you can only have so many and
Yeah.
you can't have a rooster and they have to be in
Yeah.
the run.
Yeah.
There's so many easy ways to manage it. It just frustrates me because my town doesn't allow it.
Oh,
I'm
see.
out of town, but
Hmm.
my town does not allow it. And they
Yeah.
fought it and they fought it, and it's ridiculous.
So, are you going to Time to Shine Homestead? Are you all going to get rabbits and maybe try to go the route of meat rabbits? It sucks though, because a lot of people don't even have chickens for the meat; they have them for the eggs.
And I know they have
Bummer.
quail. I hope that the quail
Mhm.
is not an issue. You're
Do
grinding this pen. I love
it.
it.
Do it. Do it. Just, you know what? You can't video and put it on YouTube because then they'll know who did it. But I'd love to see it. That would be so funny. Oh, and they have limitations too. 4 hens.
Yeah, it's pretty common. I mean, it's
Mhm.
maddening as all get out, but
Yeah,
there's so
I
many
would.
ways to manage it. It just
You're
irritates
not
me.
causing problems. Like if no one hears them, they're not.
Dogs make more noise.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, they do. We speaking of some of those rules like that, when we were moving, we almost had to back out on the property that we got because I was looking up, laws regarding animals and things, and then I saw that there are pit bull laws, and I know pit bulls kind of get a bad rap. A lot of people are afraid and nervous of them, and so forth. But I'm going to show you guys a picture that I might be using as the thumbnail for the video that I'm going to be putting up.
Well,
Um,
while you're looking, I just want to say some of those pit bull breed discrimination rules
uh huh.
um, also affect us because we have a bulldog.
Wait, do you
Oh,
see?
how cute!
Is he cute?
Is that Katie's?
That's Katie's.
I've
Yeah.
seen him. Oh,
His name is Draco. And you guys, if the babies get in trouble, Draco, if they get, put in their room because they've been acting up and what have you, he will lay at their bedroom door until they can come out of there. He lets the babies crawl all over him.
hey,
He's
Lori's World.
just, hey, Lori's World. He's just the sweetest, most lovable dog. And you've seen Bear on our channel, our black pit mix. So I was concerned and I'm like, oh, this is a deal breaker. Like we're not leaving without our dogs. Like, sorry.
No,
And dogs like this, like the thing is, you rehoming them, it can be challenging. Like certain dogs don't have that personality. And I called the local vet because I thought, okay, we take our dogs to the vet if they were to get bit by a snake. That's like my one worry because Bear loves to dig under things. And my one worry for her, she'll dig under something, get a snake bite. So I called the vet and he said, she's fine. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, talking about things that can get in the way. It almost caused us to not move here.
well, I was going to say talk to your vet also about the poisonous snake vaccinations. I know there's a rattlesnake one.
Oh, I did not know
They
that.
do they do it here.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
Awesome.
you have to do it every year. I think it's two,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know what else is available. I've chosen
Mhm.
not to do it with Diesel because we don't see them here, and
Yeah.
he's an indoor dog. But
Uh-huh.
that whole breed discrimination does stretch out to bulldogs, believe it or not.
Yes, I saw it said, and if you read the laws for anybody who hasn't heard of this, or maybe they know that it's there, they just didn't know the details. If you read those laws, it actually says, like for example, they will be destroyed. I mean, they will destroy them if they're caught in town. They wanted us to, if we lived in city limits, and we don't. So there's the caveat: we are not in city limits. um, we would have had to get like $500,000 insurance on him. We'd have to post a sign in our front yard that said Pit Bull lives here. We'd have to muzzle them whenever we took them in town, which we don't. Like I'm thinking when he has to go to when she or he has to go to the vet. Um, it was some crazy stuff. Just
Breed discrimination.
yes, discrimination against these poor dogs.
Yep.
And my husband wants me to share this picture. We call his name's Draco. We call him Pecos.
What do you call him?
Pecos. He just our dogs have tons of nicknames. We call him Pecos. And one time we had the dogs at our house because in the winter, you know, we would the first winter up north in Arizona, we kept the dogs at our house. And I was telling my husband, you know what I'm craving? And I was like, pickles. And Pecos jumped up like as if I just called his name and he did something wrong. It was the funniest thing ever. But
And
Pecos, his name's Draco, but
Papa's Kitchen is so right that, like, the neighbors can have a huge macaw that makes
here's
all kinds of noise.
Pecos and
Oh,
Bear. Oh goodness.
so what gets in the way for you guys in the chat? I'm just kind of curious. What gets in the way of your goals?
Yeah.
I think Time to Shine identified a few right there.
Yeah. Regulations. Sorry, guys. My husband he loves.
Oh my gosh, we've done. This is why we get along. We've done the same thing. Yeah, exactly, Gear Gryden.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Those little ones that are treated like cats,
Yeah.
and as a result, are ankle
Uh-huh.
biters. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Chihuahuas are more vicious because of the fact that they don't want anyone around them because they just
Yeah.
want their person.
Yep. Yep. And who was it? Who had the dog that bit my ankle? Really did really did bite my ankle. Who was that, honey? Was that their new little dog? Anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, they just really, because I know they're ankle biters. Like, he
They
just bit
are.
my ankle.
I got bit in the
Thank you,
ankle by a
Tanya.
chihuahua right through my socks when I was working doing community visits.
Yeah. Our first week up here, my pregnant daughter, so this is before she delivered the baby, was stung by one of those dang red wasps. Of all of us, we'd all been
Sorry.
in and out, in and out. She was inside more than anybody. She steps out on her porch and gets right through her sock, Lisa.
Oh my gosh. Look at Gear Gryden's comment. That's what I was laughing at.
Okay, hold on.
I'm sorry, Gear Gryden. I
That
don't
is
blame
so
you.
funny.
I'm convinced my husband doesn't use the bathroom.
Yeah. I know it. When I was growing up, we lived in Oklahoma for part of my youth, and that's what my family would always say is they're going to go water the tractor tires. Um, another thing is employment, your work, and you still have to work, but you got to do other stuff. And your work can be a blessing. Hopefully, you work. Anybody who feels like that happens, because I feel like it happens a little bit for me. Like, I got to work, I got to do. But
Sure.
um, I changed my work years ago now. And the place where I was working, don't get me wrong, I made good money. Um, I once upon a time liked it, but it really turned into more of a negative there was more negatives than a positive. So I changed it up and got a new employer and slightly different position, but still in the same industry. And it's a blessing. I mean, I'm gonna keep working longer because I can. I'm remote for one thing.
That makes a
Um,
big difference.
and I have a flexible schedule, so that's why I'm able to do a live in the middle of the day on a weekday, because my employer supports the balanced work-life balance. So you got to have work-life balance.
Hey, Mona.
Hi, Christy Baum, and hi, Sifting Some Soil. Thank you for listening. Anything else like, how do you feel, Lisa, about because you've come a long way this year with your goals? With a lot of the things you wanted to get done, you got done. Do you think sometimes you can have one goal that actually gets in the way of other goals? Because I think I've experienced that this year.
Well, go ahead. Say more about that.
So with this goal, we have been trying to change our lifestyle for years. So we did that first step. Thank you, Time to Shine.
Yeah, bye.
Um,
Time to shine.
we did that first step by getting out of the valley and moving to northern Arizona. I mean, in the valley, we were already on acreage. Um, and so we already had that, but we really wanted to get out of the valley. Now, hey there, Tiny Tim Posey. Good to see you.
Hey, Tim.
Now, when we were in Arizona, northern Arizona, and we wanted to really make the move to where we could afford more land, we could have the water, we could raise more animals and everything. So that's kind of been our focus. And really, it happened we made that final decision of we're doing it this year in May. And talk about how God works. I got to share this real quick. So I've been bugging my kids for years. When we went to northern Arizona, 3 years ago, I was on my kids trying to tell my kids, we need to move out of state, guys. We need to move out of state. Let's go somewhere where we can afford more land, trying to sell them on it. And they weren't into they didn't want to do it. And then my son-in-law's mom, now remember, my son-in-law is actually, he was the boy next door. So his mom, we know her very well. She was our neighbor for years. They're like family. So his mom got a place in Iowa. She sold her property that she had in Arizona and got a place in Iowa. And who would have thought that she would have anything to do with this happening? But, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
And I said, wait. The kids said, she said we could stay in her house because she's actually staying in Alaska. This woman's living at the North Pole. She's just an amazing woman, just so brave, much braver than me. But anyway, so she's had that house so she could come stay, in the lower 48 and visit the kids and whatnot. And she was telling them they could live there. And I'm like, what? You mean all we got to do is like, if I could help you guys with this, you'll move? And then I told my husband, and he's like, we don't want them going to Iowa. And I'm like, no, this is an open door and I'm taking it. So then I immediately got on it while they were down for the move and start doing. But what happened so May is when this began, and then we got sick in June, and then there was July and we had to show the house, and then it's been something. But this goal, albeit it was probably in our box or our jar of rocks of goals, this was the biggest rock. So I do feel like this goal kind of got in the way of other little goals that I had.
Gotcha.
And I think sometimes that can happen, even though now it's presenting itself to everything that I want to do. I'm now going to really have the opportunity to be able to do that on a higher level. But this goal of moving really was something. And I feel like it did kind of impact other goals. And did you have that experience too? Because you had some big goals this year.
I don't think we had it necessarily this year. I think there's always something that gets in the way of a goal, whether it's limited space or money, and so on. And, one of our goals has been to get larger land. And as I was saying earlier, at the price of 1.2,
that's crazy.
$3 million, first of all, that's not happening. Second of all, if we did get larger land, we need to find a way to be able to do so smartly. And unfortunately, when you live in a tourist area, as you know, land is really pricey. And then the minute you get out of town and you can't get that well, there's no way to get a well, right? You got to haul water. It's amazing how much the price drops when it's in the middle of nowhere. So, we continuously go back and forth. I think we've finally gotten to the point where we're not looking anymore. If something pops up, that's fine. But that's our choice. Because we're making a choice to say, look at all we're accomplishing here. Do we really need bigger land to spend more money on?
Accomplish a lot there.
And is it really worth it to spend more money on it? So the only way that we would do more land is if we could do a pretty much even Steven kind of thing, because we don't want to have any kind of debt. That's exactly what we don't want, right? We're not going to go into debt to have larger acreage. It's not worth it.
Hey, Vanessa. Hey, Christy Baum.
Glad you're off.
And I think Christy Baum brings up a good point too. Our own physical limitations can limit what our goals are and how we can achieve those goals. Absolutely.
And that's the other thing, right? Because, we're getting older and we're lugging around 50-pound bags and, it's going to get harder is the reality. And all that stuff. So, we try to, and that's one thing when you're running your own homestead, you've got to be careful because you can't get hurt because in 10 minutes it's feeding time and you got to feed people. So you have to be careful. It's not that easy. I know a lot of people went to Homesteaders of America. It's all over all the social media. Everybody went to Homesteaders of America.
Mhm.
That's not something we can go to, and I'm not complaining about it, but it's a choice that we've made, and we have no one to watch the farm. And if we do get somebody, it's
Mhm.
going to be for something like an emergency or something. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hey, Lisa, what's the Homesteaders?
Homesteaders of America is a big thing where a lot of the homesteaders get together in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
It's a very big event.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's in Virginia every year.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure.
a huge undertaking for us,
Mhm.
and it's not worth it. But at the
Yeah.
same time, would we like to go? Yeah, because there's
Yeah.
great education and stuff.
Mhm.
But I found, again, I'm not complaining. I make choices.
We make choices. Yep.
And so one of the choices that I've made is I found some online Kuni classes from the Empire Kuni Pig
Oh,
Association.
awesome.
And because I'm not a member, they're $10 each
Mhm.
and they're online. Signed up
Mhm.
for two. One is a roaster pig class
Mhm. Mhm.
and one is self-sustainable meat production.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
and Dear Gryden, absolutely. The best purchase we ever did was buy that side by side. That was one of the first things we bought. And that's exactly what we do. We have 2 acres, but we drive it all around because
Mhm.
it just makes sense. If you pick up a
Mhm.
feed bag the wrong way as you're getting older, you can get
Mhm.
hurt.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And Christy, um, she mentioned I love herbs too. I cannot wait to grow herbs. We do have some lavender growing here. Oh my goodness.
of
And
course, LP.
one thing that Christy, like with the garden and the chickens, that's awesome. If you wanted to buy, like, be involved or have like that fresh meat too, we used to buy, and I know Lisa does or did this, but now she's got so much meat she raises on her own 2 acres. But um, we would buy half a cow from a friend. Hey there, Loki Trapping Adventures,
He
and
runneth
I
over
run a
garden life.
garden in life. Thank you all for joining. We would buy a half a cow from someone when we were in northern Arizona, um, because we my daughter had the chickens, so we got the eggs from her, and we did the garden, and not as much as I wanted to garden, but we did what we could with what we had, and that's what you do, right? And then you set your goals up with what you have. I mean, it comes down to choices. As long as you know what your choices are, like Lisa's sharing, like this is her choice where they live, what they have. Um, that's their choice. It was our choice to move. We didn't get all of our boxes crossed off. And honestly, I'll say again, we did, and this is my husband and I and my kids too have all said we felt like when we were in Arizona there was less people where we were. So it's a little busier than what we're used to. Hey Jean. So the new baby's name is Asher Gates. And
Aw,
we miss Jean and Bruce, our really good friends in northern Arizona, horribly. We
aw,
bawled our eyes out when we left there.
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I I don't mean to interrupt you about the baby, but I wanted to go
Mhm.
back to the half cow. Funny story.
Uh-huh.
We ordered a half cow, or we committed to a half cow
Uh-huh.
January.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. So we committed, so we're taking it. We really don't need it.
You got to get a new freezer.
No, I've got three, and the one is
Okay,
not
you're good.
plugged in, so we'll plug it in.
Uh-huh.
But it, it just goes to show you when you commit to it in January, and then
You do.
we've raised meat and busted
Mhm.
it out, and now we're
Mhm.
like, ugh.
Yep. Hmm. Pawpaw's Kitchen. That's good to know. I follow them, but I didn't realize they were located in Missouri too. I'm gonna
I
be.
thought they were in Kentucky now.
Oh, did they move too? I've
Yeah.
noticed there's some people that are on the move. Boots and Bounty Homestead. I haven't watched their video yet, but they did I saw the thumbnail. I just didn't have time to watch it because I was working, but it said, did we move? I thought, did you move?
Yep. I know Milk and Honey. Same here. Same here. And that's a big commitment to be able to get down there. I really wish that, organizations like that would like do it on different parts of the
Yeah.
states. If they say it's
Hmm.
Homesteaders of America and,
Good point.
yeah, but I mean at the same time, if they don't, they don't. But
Hmm.
one of the other things is there's other places that have them, because obviously they're having them in the heart of where everybody is. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they're everybody, maybe not our everybody, because look at all of us here. We've got Milk and Honey in Oregon. RG was in Arizona. Runneth Over Garden and Life. I'm not sure where you all are. Um, so, I mean, Virginia is a good little jaunt from Missouri, too.
And Little House said, I thought about organizing something on our own. I've tried to do that here and I've had no bites, and
Yeah.
it's all good
Hmm.
because, the bottom line is I've connected with people.
Hmm.
Oh, it's okay, Papa. It's not a
Texas.
big deal. I could be wrong too. I mean, there's so many, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
I can't keep track of my own life, let alone others.
Right.
It's
I hear you.
true. Runneth Over Garden is in Texas.
Has a Kentucky mailing address. Okay. So they might have moved to Kentucky. I've got
Yeah.
to update my about page also. In my about page, I mentioned the fact that our goal is to move, and so I need to change it because we did that. Hey
Oh, we can start
there,
now. Jazz is here. My gosh, you're up late, my friend.
I'm not looking forward to having to change our clocks back an hour.
No
November 1st.
kidding.
Yeah, I'm still because right now we're 2 hours ahead of what we were in Arizona, right? So technically,
Mhm.
I've already changed my personal clock back. You know what I will put it forward, but that means that I personally am getting up 2 hours earlier than I used to. And now when they change the clock back, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get up even earlier.
And it gets darker quicker in Missouri, doesn't it?
Yeah, we feel like the days are flying by. Hey there, Tina Ladybug. We feel my husband's like, what the heck? How come time flies so fast here? I'm like, it's because we've been working our butts off even harder. I mean, I said, look at there, because he used to do construction, before we had the pest control business and then we sold that. But I told him, just think, you thought you left the job site. Now you live in one. Because he's been doing remodeling stuff in here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've had to replace subflooring, plumbing pipes. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. Does anybody, so we're coming up on 1 o'clock and we try to stick pretty close to our 1 hour. Oh, you're in Missouri too, Gergridden? I didn't know that. Anybody have any questions for us or want to share anything before we go? Hey,
You
Lisa, what
yeah.
channel do you want to do the live on next week?
Let's do it on yours. Let's stick with that pattern for a little bit.
Okay. So next week we will be here 12 o'clock Central Time and 11 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday for this live, and hope you all will join us then. And moving forward in spring will be the last time to change clocks. Really? Hmm. That's weird. That's interesting.
Hmm.
I don't know where the cackle hatchery is, but very cool.
You better look it up.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. All right. Thank you, everybody. And I hope that you all got some value from listening to us today. And I hope that it encourages you to figure out what's in the way of you achieving your goals and just thinking outside of the box to get around or over or under that, whatever is in the way. And
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody. Bye, Pontoon Jody Catfish, and good to see you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.